Today we're looking at factorising quadratics, but these are much harder. Let's start by reminding ourselves how we expand quadratic brackets. So we're going to multiply the 2x by the second bracket, and we're going to multiply the minus 6 by the second bracket. And then we can just expand linearly. So we're going to do 2x times the 5x, 2x times the minus 3, then the minus 6 times the 5x, and the minus 6 times the minus 3. There's two terms in the middle, the x terms can collect, and there we go, that's our answer. Let's have a look at these questions. When factorising a quadratic where a, which is the coefficient or the number before the x squared, is more than 1, which it is in here, you can see it's 2, we need to start by multiplying a and c, which is the number at the end, together. So we're going to multiply the 2 and the 15, which gives us 30. We're now looking for two numbers that add together to make 13 and multiply together to make 30. We can see that 10 times 3 is 30 and 10 plus 3 is 13. So our numbers are 10 and 3. We're now going to rewrite the question, but instead of plus 13x, we're going to write plus 3x plus 10x from the 10 and the 3 we found earlier. We're going to then factorise linearly the first two terms and the last two terms. So the 2x squared plus 3x will make x bracket 2x plus 3, and the 10x plus 15, we can divide out 5 from both of those, will give us 5 brackets 2x plus 3. We're going to now look at the terms outside of the brackets, the x and the plus 5. That will form our first quadratic bracket. And then the repeated term will give us our second bracket. So when we factorise 2x squared plus 13x plus 15, it gives us x plus 5 in the first bracket and 2x plus 3 in the second bracket. In this question, we're going to start by multiplying the a and the c. A is the coefficient of the x squared, which is 6, and c is the end one, which is 8. So 6 times 8 is 48. So we need two numbers that multiply together to make 48 and add together to make our b number, which is 16. It's the coefficient of the x. That's going to be 12 and 4. So 12 times 4 is 48, 12 plus 4 is 16. We're going to rewrite the question, but instead of the 16x, we're going to do 12x and 4x. Then we're going to linearly factorise the first two terms and the last two terms. So 6x squared and 12x, we can divide out 6x. And the last two terms, 4x plus 8, we can divide out the 4. The two terms outside the brackets will make our first bracket, which will be 6x plus 4, and the repeated bracket will give us our second bracket. In this question we have a negative, but actually we followed exactly the same process. So we're going to start by multiplying the 12 and the minus 15, which will give us minus 180. Now we need two numbers that add together to make 11 and multiply together to make minus 180. And a little tip is normally they're quite simple numbers when the numbers get big. And actually it's just going to be 20 times minus 9 and 20 plus minus 9. Each of those work. So we're going to rewrite the question, but instead of plus 11x, it's going to be plus 20x minus 9x. Then we're going to linearly factorise the first two terms and the last two terms. So 12x squared and 20x both have a 4x we can divide out. And minus 9x and minus 15 both have a minus 3 we can divide out. Now be really careful with that second bracket, because when you divide out minus 3 from minus 15, you're left with plus 5. The two terms outside the brackets, the 4x and the minus 3, come together to make the first bracket, and the repeated bracket at 3x plus 5 make the second bracket. Let's finish with this. Joan and Harry expand 2x squared plus 6x plus 4. Joan's answer is 2x plus 2 in the first bracket, x plus 2 in the second bracket. And Harry's answer is x plus 1 in the first bracket, 2x plus 4 in the second bracket. Explain who is correct and why. If you know, write it in the comments below. And also you can come to onmaths.com or click the link in the description where you can access all of our free papers and predictions, and you can even save your scores with a free account. This video is part of a larger GCSE course that you can follow along with at onmaths.com.